Be sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello out there, and welcome to another edition of the At Home with Christ podcast. So today we're going to be talking about when you have a problem and you begin to get angry when you have this problem. So let's begin. So in this story, an ad or on a radio or a TV show comes on, and the person is saying, "Does this sound like you when you have a problem that you can't solve? I'm mad, I'm angry." And you start getting all wound up in the inside like a time bomb, ticking, just waiting to tick. But wait, ask yourself this question. Are you really angry? And if you are, what about? Let's look first at your anger. Proverbs 21:4 says that anger is cruel and fuel, and it is overwhelming. And we should remember to stop and think about it when we are angry. That is, when you're angry, you should remember to stop and think about what that anger is really doing and what it has already done. But it causes blood to be on a whole lot of people's hands. So sometimes when you're angry, it can cause blood to be on somebody else's hands. It can even cause blood to be on your own hands. It also causes countless sins. So we're saying that because you can't solve your problem, you decide to have resentment in your heart towards someone else, for something else that is your problem, for something else that you've created. But Ephesians 4:26 tells us we can be angry, but express it in a positive way. Not to go out and solve the problem by spilling blood all over your hands. So we're saying that Ephesians 4:26 tells us that we can be angry, but you can express your anger in a positive way. And don't go out and try to solve your problems by spilling blood all over your hands or somebody else's hands. Now, it's easy to suggest ways to solve other people's problems when you don't have to deal with them. So we're saying that it's easy to try to solve somebody else's problems when you, the person listening, don't have to deal with it. The implications could be that person has a mental capacity, so they can't solve their problems. They have an inner behavior problem that may need adjusting, or a habit to break. These are just some of the things that when people have problems and they can't solve their problems, these might be some of the stumbling blocks that may be blocking them from solving a problem. Or there could be demons and fears that they could be dealing with themselves. So when we think about other people and their problems, we have to think, how come this person can't solve their problem? Isn't it that they can't solve the problem? It is that they don't know how to solve the problem. And our job as a listener is to listen and maybe guide them into a safe way to solve their problems. Now listen, ask yourselves this question. Do they really want help, or do they just want someone to listen? So when someone says they have a problem and you begin to listen, so we ask ourselves, do they really want help? Do they want advice, or do they really want us to listen? Because when we become the person giving advice instead of listening, who are we then? Instead of us listening, we start giving advice. So who are we when we're doing that? And does that person really want advice, or do they really just want us to listen? So they do want us just to be the sympathetic listener in some cases. They want us to just listen. So we should start by just listening to them and then praying. Then secondly, don't try to lean in to solve so much of the problems, but to just be the sympathetic listener, as we've been talking about. Just be the sympathetic listener. Now, remember that they said that God said that he would fix this broken world. But it takes time, people. And it takes time for him to solve our problems. Our problems are not going to go away overnight or tomorrow, not even next week. Not even in the way we think that they should build or be taken care of. God has a way to solve our problems. God has a way to fix this broken world. And we need to just listen and understand that, instead of jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, I'm going to solve this problem myself. Oh, I'm going to fix this myself. We're on God's time. We're not on our time. So when you have a problem, instead of you getting angry and frustrated, think first and pray about it before you get too angry, because it's not going to solve anything right away. It's just going to cause more problems. Now, James 1:19 tells us what to do when you're angry. Slow to angry, quick to listen. You get angry and you get frustrated. First of all, you have a problem. Slow to angry and first to listen. So if there is a problem that you have, we should listen first and get angry slower. And if you are getting angry, remember to express your anger in a positive way, not a negative way where you're out spilling blood all over the place, where you have blood on your hands. Because anger has a lot of signs, and some of these signs are bitterness. So your bitterness, you're upset with someone else, and someone else because they won't solve your problems, or you're a part of that problem. And then you grow to having resentment in you. You don't want resentment in you. You don't want to be bitter. You're frustrated and you become passive aggressive. But you have to ask yourself, whose problem is this? It's not mine. It must be yours. So own it first. Go to anger second. And pray to God third. You get what I'm saying? Own it first. Pray to God second. And anger third. Now, we're not miracle workers, people. And here's why we can't solve other people's problems, because we are not there in their shoes. And we tend to look at their problems objectively. So what we're saying, they're problem solvers. We're not miracle workers. And we're telling you, pray about it first, slow to anger, talk to God when you have a problem, when you feel anger coming on. And so until next time, we'll continue more on our story of anger. Next time. Thank you.
Be sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello, I am Julie Thomas, And the name of my podcast is it's a Well Water Christian podcast for my social media podcast show, which is At Home with Christ. And now I want to tell you about my latest TV show, which is going to be At Home with Christ TV. And you can reach that and you can see all the episodes on Shrimp TV. On shrimp.com. So that you can go to this new platform, which is shrimp.com, and look for At Home with Christ TV under London. It is a fantastic show, and we hope that you